I think the problem that we've had is that we have people decided that they didn't really want to work so much anymore through COVID, and that has had a massive issue on productivity. Tradies have definitely pulled back on productivity. They have been paid a lot to do not too much in the last few years, and we need to see that change. We need to see unemployment rise. Unemployment has to jump 40-50% in my view. We need to see pain in the
unemployment needs to jump 40-50% in my view. Yeah, how about we start with you, man? Just someone immediately walk up to him and take all of his money. Please. I hate this shit so much because people say this about me because like of the things I fucking advocate for, where they're like, oh, eat the rich. Well, how about we start with you, jackass? And it's like, dude, this is the real demon. And guess what? A lot of those people who portray themselves as like kind-hearted and philanthropic individuals that make as much money as he does or even more have the exact same point of view, that you have to suffer, so you shut the fuck up and get back to fucking work. Shut the fuck up and get back to work. Stop complaining. You got too many amenities, and now because you got too many amenities, now you know your worth a little bit, and we need to fucking hurt you until you forget your worth.
Economy, we need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. I mean, there's been a systematic change where employees feel the employer is extremely lucky to have them, as opposed to the other way around. So it's a dynamic that has to change.
For the record, no economist would want 50% unemployment. No, I think he's saying unemployment needs to jump by 50%. So if it's like 2%, it goes up by 1%. You know what I mean? That's what he's saying. But even then, it's like so fucking gross. By the way, I just want you to understand something, okay? The attitude that he's demonstrating here was first demonstrated and implemented, or, I mean, every neoliberal economist believes what he's saying. They just don't say it out loud usually, unless they're sitting across from fucking like Jon Stewart, who basically draws it out of them, or they're Alan Greenspan and they just say it voluntarily. And if you find this to be, slimy and cretinous, you're absolutely correct, but you should remember that your boss probably also, if he has enough knowledge on how the economy is supposed to work, also believes this.
Change. We've got to kill that attitude, and that has to come through hurting the economy, which is what the whole global, the world is trying to do. The governments around the world are trying to increase unemployment.
This is a guy who started the millennials can't afford houses because they buy too much avocado toast meme. Millionaire tells millennials, if you want a house, stop buying avocado toast. Says real estate oh my God, he's a real estate mogul. I hate this fucking piece of shit. I hate him so fucking much. I can't say what I genuinely feel about him because I will get banned.
Employment to get that to some sort of normality. And we're seeing it. I think every employer now is seeing it. I mean, there is definitely massive layoffs going off. People might not be talking about it, but people are definitely laying people off, and we're starting to see less arrogance in the employment market, and that has to continue because that will cascade across the cost balance.
What scares me is they actually believe it. They aren't just selfish per se. Well, I mean, technically, if you think capitalism is the best way to operate, if it's the best social, political, economic organization of society, then like, yeah, you agree with this. He's not wrong. Every capitalist should agree with this. It's just that most people who think they love capitalism don't agree with this because they recognize how ghoulish it is. It's the difference between being like, oh, I love the Republican Party, they would never, like, I love the Republican Party, the abortion stuff is whatever, versus like living in a world where the Republican Party has been able to dismantle abortion protections by way of the Supreme Court. At that certain, like, you're giving the game away at that point. You've given the game away. Everybody knows what you're doing. It just sounds like a business plan for people who are failures in business. So silly. I think the average chud hates this shit but loves capitalism. So it's this weird cognitive dissonance. Exactly. That is precisely the point. That is it. You've nailed it. The entire media ecosystem and every facet of education, every part of your identity that you form through reacting to external stimuli makes sure that the human part of you that fucking has a visceral gut reaction to this fucking demon never puts two and two together. That is capitalist dogma, okay? You hear this and you go, this is gross. What a fucking piece of shit. And you never realize that what he is saying is the truth. What he's saying is not new. What he's saying is not unique. It is something that many in positions of power have said, including, as I've told you, Alan fucking Greenspan. This is literally neoliberalism 101, okay? It's just that this dumbass is giving the game away and openly telling you that you have to be brutal. The government must implement the hurt. because then you'll know your place as a peasant in society. That's it. This is how it works, though. The cognitive dissonance comes from associating what this guy says with crony capitalism and not capitalism. No, most people can't make that distinction. Most people don't know that distinction. That's for like more educated dumbasses who at least are still trying to work the inherent contradictions that's baked into capitalism. And that's their cop-out solution to that. No, most people don't even think. They just go, oh, this guy, what a demon, what a ghoul. Also, capitalism is awesome, and socialists are fucking bloodthirsty demons. They're the real ones that will do a concentration of power at the top and make sure everyone is poor. Ugh. Like, I wanted to, it's so gross. Yeah, he also actually says the governments are implementing the hurt, or at least private businesses are implementing the hurt with mass layoffs right now. They've taken it upon themselves. Yeah, his fucking five-head. Here, let's look at this idiot with another idiotic take.
We are coming into a new reality where first-home buyers, second-home buyers, and a lot of people won't own a house in their lifetime. That is just the reality of where we're going.
So you think that young people have now got the prospect of never owning a home?
Absolutely, when you're spending $40 a day on smashed avocado and coffees and not working. Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Broy has never seen avocados. $10 for 10. 10 for $10 is Safeway. Hopefully he steps on a snake when walking, when he's bushwalking or some shit.
I had my first business when I was 19. I was in the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning and I finished at 10:30 at night, and I did it 7 days a week. And I did it till I could afford my first home. And you know, there was no discussions around could I go out for breakfast or could I go out for dinner or whatever it was. I just worked.
So what you're saying is you're a bit more driven than some of the people in the current generation?
Look, I wouldn't say that they're not driven. I just think that the media and the current environment and lifestyle changes has definitely changed the next generation. I think it's very dangerous. I think it's dangerous for the economy, and I think it's definitely dangerous for their ambitions of owning property. And I think the problem...
Dangerous for the ambitions of owning property. 35-year-old executive then offered a point of comparison. Okay, what's up? What's happening with this guy? What did he do? How did he make his money? I know he did real estate, but like, you don't fucking start off with real estate when you don't have capital. How did he get the first infusion of cash? Like, how rich are his parents is the real question I'm asking here. He looks like racist Megamind. His grandfather gave him 34 grand to kickstart the project, and Mr. Gerner spent 4 weeks renovating the space while getting his gym license by correspondence. Within 6 months, the place was pumping. While many Gen Ys are battling scrape together to deposit their first home, Tim Gerner's making millions. Oh, God, I hate him. I saw an opportunity and took over the lease. I didn't even know what I was doing, to be totally honest, but it was a really good opportunity, a really good spot. His grandfather gave him 34 grand to kickstart the project, and Mr. Gerner spent 4 weeks renovating the place. Yeah. After running the gym for another year, Mr. Gerner offered it for sale to one of his competitors, and then they took it straight away. It was a really good first little business. How did he take over a lease with 34 grand? He probably put his grandparents or his dad as like a co-owner on the lease so he could actually get it. There's 0% chance that like with 34 grand as a loan, a bank is going to be like, yeah, sure, take over this fucking property. I don't know. I hate this. I fucking hate this. I hate this so much. His comment sparked outrage among Generation Y, with many claiming that Mr. Gerner was only successful because his grandfather lent him 34 grand for his first investment. The multimillionaire hit back, claiming it was wrong that he was given help to get into the property market. His first investment property was a flat his boss bought for 180 grand in Melbourne, St. Kilda. He said he was offered to do renovation work while his boss doled out the money. I spent every night on my hands and knees sacking back the floors, painting, renovating, and working on the house. When we sold it, I used a small 12 grand profit to buy my next property. How? How did he fucking buy a property for 12 grand? He said he used 12 grand plus a $34,000 loan from his grandfather to borrow $150,000 to buy a gym. Okay, one thing I need to mention here. Even if he wasn't getting help from his granddaddy or he lucked out with his employer, even if he literally scrounged up every fucking dollar he do that he made working at the kangaroo boxing facility or whatever the fuck people do in Australia, whatever he was doing, it still doesn't change the reality that he was able to luck in to a situation where his investments didn't fucking fail, and he's able to keep building on top of that. And more importantly, that he made all of his money and his majority of wealth through shutting off access, or at least taking advantage of a market failure by being the sole owner of a necessary for survival commodity, housing. It's still ultimately parasitic. Like, he's just a gigantic fucking piece of shit. That's the issue that I have with real estate in general. Like, looking into his background shows that he also was very fortunate and did not have the same hangups that many people experience. issues with health or not being born into a family where there's 34 grand lying around, not being able to work for a boss that's just like, yeah, sure, I'll front the $180,000 into this property for you that you can just take over. It's just very, very, very frustrating that this guy has made his $500 million of fortune specifically off of the real estate market and openly talks about, like basically openly flexes that like what he did, you can't even do, and you won't even be able to actually get a home for yourself at all, okay? Because of guys like him, directly because of that. But actually, the real problem is avocado toast.
With this generation is they want the 3-bedroom home in Melbourne and Melbourne East and Prahran and Alexandria and Sydney, and it's just not sustainable or realistic.
So what you're saying is our big cities, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane to a certain extent, are almost becoming like European cities, where people may rent for...
Most people can't save $12K and invest it all, let's be real. Yeah, that too. I mean, obviously. And there is no avocado toast cheat code there.
Life simply because they can't afford to buy in those cities.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're almost there now. I mean, I think people are talking about a housing affordability crisis right now. You wait 2 or 3 years when the shock and awe of the last 12 months of no supply, prices are going to jump again and they're going to continue to move. The only thing that gives me a little bit of comfort is the fact that parents have inherited gigantic wealth. The baby boomers have gone and we have created this incredible wealth throughout the baby boomers. Everyone's talking about affordability and housing crises and unaffordability.
Oh, never mind. This guy has a brilliant solution for the current housing crisis, which is your rich parents will die, and then you'll get inheritance that you can buy a house with. Got it. Yeah. Dude, I love rich people because, like, their fucking ideas for fixing societal problems is never through government intervention, which, of course, would hurt his profit margins, obviously. But it's through magical solutions like, one, having rich parents who fucking die and leave you all this money.
The realistic fact is there is this incredible amount of wealth that has been created and is sitting with the baby boomers that will be passed down. There is going to be a transition of wealth in the next 20 to 30 years, which will see a lot of these people be able to buy their own home. But I think some sort of measure now, some sort of government incentive to encourage parents to be able to pass down money earlier, I think would be a great thing.
I hate this guy.